Hello, welcome. I love you. I'm grateful to be here with you on Friday night. My name is Robert Love. I'm a neuroscientist. I specialize in helping people prevent Alzheimer's disease with science. Please check with your medical doctor before doing anything that affects your health. Welcome. As you come, please type your first name and where you're from into the chat. I would love to know who is here. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Happy Friday to you. Please type your first name and where you are from in the chat. People are going to be coming from around the world. I've really enjoyed chatting with people not only from across the United States. Houston, Texas. What's your first name? Sophia from the Philippines. Hi, Shaleyville. Where are you from? Tracy. Excellent. Tracy from, is it Houston, Texas? Please write your first name and where you're from. Gordon from Colorado. Excellent. Amy from Germany. Welcome. Great to see you. Nathaniel from Montreal, Canada. Great. If you're joining us, please type in your first name and where you're from. Glenda from Louisiana. Shaleyville from New Jersey. Tracy from Houston, Texas. Hi, Tracy. Welcome. Great to see you. Dana from New York City. Cebu from the Philippines. Kelly from Minnesota. I had a friend in graduate school who spelled Kelly that way. Good to see you, Kelly. Ivana from Austin. Hey, I'm going to Austin tomorrow. Noah from Canada. Hi, Noah. Welcome. Someone from Lakeville, Minnesota. Based Mama from Lakeville, Minnesota. Patty from Los Angeles, California. Welcome, Patty. Great to have you here. Hey, Alberta, Canada. That's a fascinating name. Hey, what a name. Roxy from Texas. Hey, Roxy. Mark from Florence, Oregon. Jonah. I'm sorry, I missed where you're from. They're coming in too fast now. Anything for hair growth? No, I need it. If you have something for hair growth, let me know. Boston, Callie here, Rochester, Minnesota. Please write your first name and where you're from if you're just coming in. Melissa, somebody from Alley Cash from Michigan, Seattle, howdy. How does LSD affect our brains? That's a heck of a name. Indiana. Mel from New Hampshire. We'll get to LSD. Aya from LA. Short-term memory is garbage. I'm sorry to hear that. Concussions. Oxyracetam is what I recommend for concussions, as well as Ceylon cinnamon, Ceylon. So anyone who's had a concussion or traumatic brain injury, oxyracetam, check with your medical doctor. I'm a neuroscientist, not a medical doctor. Oxyracetam. Hi, Dana from Chicago. Oxyracetam, Oxyracetam, and Ceylon cinnamon, Ceylon. We got Detroit, Michigan. We got Darwin from Australia. How much is Patreon? Patreon starts as low as $3 a month. Just a few dollars makes a really big difference. It allows me to focus on content and bring this to you. Hi from Morocco. Hi, New York. Please write your first name and where you're from. West Virginia, Corey from West Virginia. What's my opinion on hormone replacement therapy? You want bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. So the great news is that, this was found that women who get a hysterectomy before menopause, if they don't get hormone replacement therapy, those women are more likely to get Alzheimer's disease. So women who get a hysterectomy who don't get hormone replacement therapy, more likely to get Alzheimer's disease. Why? Because they're missing some hormones. So getting bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, really helpful. I did this with a client. I found out that she had a hysterectomy, and then we went and got her hormone. I sent her to a functional endocrinologist, someone who works with hormones, and her memory got better. We did other things too. She worked on her diet. She was doing exercise, and she was doing the supplements. And so she was doing all kinds of things. What's my take on ashwagandha? I just did an interview today for a masterclass with someone his name is Dr. Michael Gaeta. I'm not taking calls right now. We'll do calls later. I said we're going to do one-on-ones. That'll be fun. Iris from Mexico, welcome. What up, dude? What up, Looney? Please don't ask to join me right now. I'll let you know when to ask to join. Big Bear from Canada. Dave from New York. And so what he shared, Dr. Michael Gaeta, who's a Chinese and functional medicine doctor, shared that ashwagandha is really good for the brain. I personally don't like it. It doesn't work for my digestive system. Jose from Florida. But other people do really well with it. He also shared about milk thistle. I'm going to talk to you about milk thistle. It's really, really good. You're doing MCT in your coffee. Great job. Nikki from Ohio. I was born in Ohio. So I want to share something with you. This is really big. Janessa from Philly, sweet. First, can I show this to you? This is really cool. So I'm packing up my stuff, and I found this really cool knife. Look at this. And I bought this from a store in Texas that confiscates stuff through security, and then they sell it. And so someone was brought this through security, and then they confiscated it. Look at this cool knife. Look at that. It's like it's got this crow thing. So I've been using this to pack my boxes. So of course I can't take this on the plane. I'm gonna have to check this in my baggage. I'm from Philly. Awesome. I went to school outside Philly. So I wanted to share something with you. I made a really big mistake yesterday, and I want you to learn from it, because at the time I thought I was doing the right thing, and I really hurt somebody. And so here's what happened. So I'm moving, and I'm wanting to give away my things. And I have this really nice pair of binoculars. Check these out. This really nice pair of binoculars. Hello. And I wanted to give them to somebody. And there's this woman my friend was dating. And when I've seen her, she's been mean to him. In my experience, she's emotionally toxic. And I've been telling him, hey, I don't want you to date this woman. I think she's bad for you. And he says, yeah, you've told me that. My family's told me that. My other friends have told me that. I know she's bad for me. I'm like, dude, I love you. And you're a wonderful man. Please stop trying to save this woman. She's hurting you. She's yelling at you. She's emotionally, she's not physically abusive. She's emotionally, verbally abusive to you. Please stop seeing her. And so I saw her last night, and I was packing up. And I said, hey, what can I do with these binoculars? And she's like, I'll use them. And I kind of ignored her. And then she's like, I would use them. And she's like, no, seriously, I would use them. And I was like, I don't want to give them to you. She says, why? And I said, I looked at her, I said, I don't like you. And I don't want to give them to you. I don't like you. I think you're really toxic. I think you're really bad for my friend. And I don't want to give these to you. And then she left the house crying. As she left, she turned and said, just love. The answer is just love. And then she left. And and then my friends talked to me. He said, look, you don't know her history. You don't know how badly she was abused as a child. You don't know what's gotten her to where she is today. And he said, I appreciate that you don't want me to be with her. I appreciate that. And I know she's not good for me, but that's my choice. What you did, even though it was true for you, you may not like her. You didn't need to say that. Robert, you could have said to her, I don't like your behavior, or I don't like your behavior in the past. I could have said that. Or I could have simply said, I simply don't want to give them to you. And then she was right. I could have met her with love. You know, if I run into someone who's mentally hurt or emotionally unstable, ideally I reach out to that person with love. Right? As a healthy person, I like to think myself as physically, emotionally, spiritually healthy. I'm not always, but I'd like to think I am most of the time. The right answer is to love. If someone's being abusive, the right answer is to be loving to them, not to be judgmental towards them. And so I made this really big mistake by telling this person directly, I don't like you. I don't like you because you're toxic. I think you're bad for my friend. I don't want to give these to you. I want you gone. And she left, but she gave me a powerful lesson. And so this morning, first of all, I then processed with my friend for like 20 minutes. So this really cost me a chunk of time, and I was upset when I went to bed. I woke up thinking about it. And so I wrote her a note. I wrote her a note and said, hey, I said, you know, dear so-and-so, I want you to know I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I said. I'm sorry for the pain that I caused you. It's not right for me to cause another human being pain. That's not okay. That's not what I want to do. I said, listen, I'm sorry that I caused you pain. I'm sorry for the words that I said. I take responsibility for them, and I'm sorry for the impact they had on you, caused you pain and upset, and that's not what I want. You were right. I can be loving. The right answer is to reach out with love, and I'm sorry I didn't do that. Please forgive me. It's basically what I wrote. I felt much better, and then she responded very lovingly. And so I don't know if she's going to come back and take these or not, but now it would feel really good to me for her to have these. Interestingly, you know, ideally, if I were like this super spiritual, enlightened person, if someone asked me, even if my worst enemy asked me for something, I would give it to them. Say, sure, you can have these binoculars. I may not like you, but sure, you can have them. You're a fellow human being, and I love you. I may not like you, but I love you. And so here, take these glasses, or take these binoculars. But that's not what I did. That's not what I was. I wasn't evolved enough. I wasn't enlightened enough, spiritual enough to be there at that moment. So that was the mistake. So here's my intention, and here's what I'm going to try to do. And I called my mother, and I called a good friend. I said, here's what I'm going to try to do. I'm not going to say to anybody, ideally for as long as I live, I don't like you. There's no purpose in me saying that to anyone. Why would I say that to anybody? Even if I don't like them, I love them. We are human beings together. Of course I love you. You are a creation of the divine energy, whatever you believe that is. And of course I love you. Just like I'm a creation of the divine, so are you, and I love you. I may not like you in this moment, but I don't need to say that. Better to say, listen, I don't like your behavior right now. Or I'll probably say that to my children. Little Johnny, little Robert, little Susie, little Lisa, I don't like your behavior right now. I think what you're doing is harmful to your friends. I'd really like you to change. That would be much better, right? So I'm not going to say to another human being, to the best of my ability, I don't like you. I'm going to remove that phrase from my vocabulary. Instead, say I don't like what's happening. I don't like your behavior in the past, and so forth. So that's my confession to you, and yeah, I hope that's helpful to you. If you are a healthy person and you have unhealthy people in your life, which is most of us know someone who's unhealthy and has had some trauma or hurt in their lives. Let's be kind and loving to them, because we have the emotional reserves to do that for them. We can be that healthy, loving person for these people. We don't need to obsess about helping them. If they're bringing you down, don't invest your time in a way that's going to take you down. But if you're healthy, you can love them, you can give them a hug, and you can respond with love without letting it take you down too much. So that's what I wanted to share that with you. Wow, that feels really good. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all your comments. All right, so last night I found myself really emotionally eating after this thing. After I said these things to her, I found I was reaching for chocolate, I was reaching for dates. I was just like, I got to eat something. First of all, it was exhausting, and then I wanted to feel something different. I felt sad. I was not ashamed. I don't think I feel that, but I felt sad at my evolution. I thought, wow, I'm not as evolved as I thought I was. Here, this woman who has had trauma in her life, I was able to respond to her in this really unhealthy, uncool way. I'm not as evolved as I think I am. And so I tried to change the way I felt. I started watching cartoons. I started eating chocolate. I was just trying to do anything to feel different. Now I'm eating tonight, because I'm leaving soon, I need to eat this. This is one of my favorite desserts. This is, I'm going to give you the recipe. This is chocolate. Basically, it's like a chocolate ganache or a chocolate, almost like a chocolate fudge. A little bit creamier than a fudge. Well, God bless you too. Thank you, Tea with Gospel. By the way, I so appreciate your comments, Tea with Gospel. I love you. You're so wonderful. So here's how to make it. 2 pounds of chocolate, 1 can of coconut cream. Mix that together over a double boiler. A double boiler is you get a pot of boiling water, and on top of it is a metal pot that gets heated up from the steam, and so it's a lot gentler in heating up things that burn. If you just put chocolate on a stove in a pan, it's easy to burn. You don't want to do that. I've done that a number of times. Please avoid that. So 2 pounds of chocolate, ideally ketogenic friendly chocolate. I'll give you an at-home recipe just following this, but 2 pounds of ketogenic friendly chocolate, fair trade chocolate, because you don't want slave chocolate. Really unfortunate. I've said this before, but I'll just go into it real quickly. A lot of the large candy companies have been buying their chocolate from Africa. A lot of the plantations in Africa recruit children from over the border and basically lure them into their chocolate plantation and then have them work and don't pay them. Someone who works and doesn't get paid is a slave. It's called slave chocolate. There's documentaries on YouTube where people risk their lives to uncover what's happening. Basically, an adult will go over and make friends with the child, put them on a bus, get on a bus with them. The child wakes up on a chocolate plantation. They don't speak the language. They don't know where they are. They're 9 years old, and so they're working for free on this chocolate plantation. What would I do as a 9-year-old? I'd be stuck there. So first, we don't want to support that. We don't want to support slavery in Africa. That's not cool. Second of all, we don't want to support the companies that think that's okay. And third, I don't think you want to ingest the energy that is. It's really bad. My friend Jay told me about this as I was picking up, at the time I was buying a Hershey bar. He said, "Do you know about slave chocolate?" And he told me, and I said, "Thank you, Jay. I can never buy another Hershey bar again. This is terrible." And I don't think I have. I may have done it once. I can remember one time where I was thinking of doing it. And so once I learned that, I said, you know what? No, I'd rather not eat chocolate than buy another one of those. And now you'll see some of the large chocolate companies, what they'll do is they'll put fair trade on it. Fair trade is how you know that the people are being paid. So fair trade means non-slave chocolate. So fair trade is good chocolate. Interestingly, in 2000, the Senate in the United States put together a bill banning slave chocolate. the chocolate companies stood up and said, no, 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 don't do this, don't pass this bill, we'll clean up our act. That was 20 years ago. They are just beginning to do it now. And I saw a major chocolate company that had fair trade on their label. It had organic fair trade chocolate. So they're just starting now. It took, I don't know how long they've been growing slave chocolate. Interesting, they started growing chocolate in Africa. It's native to South America. They started growing it in Africa to cultivate chocolate for Europe. So, so people from Europe come over, the conquistadors do some really terrible things to some natives here. They find chocolate, they like it, they bring it back, they start to cultivate it where it's really close to Europe, which is down in Africa. And so to my knowledge, chocolate's not native to Africa, but it's been grown in Africa to meet the chocolate demand of Europe. Good, bad, I don't know. Slave chocolate, definitely bad for those humans and bad for us who consume it. So that's the story of slave chocolate. So when you buy chocolate, you want keto-friendly chocolate. That means it doesn't have the refined sugars, so it doesn't have cane sugar, ideally. It doesn't have sugar or high fructose corn syrup. Ideally, the sweeteners are allulose, monk fruit sugar, stevia, erythritol, maybe xylitol, and if you can't, or organic coconut sugar. I like Hu chocolate a lot, HU chocolate. They do really good work. I think they're really tasty. So 2 pounds of organic, fair trade, ketogenic friendly chocolate. It doesn't need to be super dark. I don't like milk chocolate because I try not to eat dairy, but just chocolate that you like. It doesn't need to be so dark that you can't stand it. So when people say it's got to be X amount dark, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be X amount dark. You just don't want refined sugar in it. Refined sugar is inflammatory. If you're dealing with inflammation with your chocolate, you're not getting the benefits. There's so many benefits to chocolate. It promotes neurogenesis, that's the growth of new brain cells. Promotes angiogenesis, the growth of new blood vessels in the brain. That's really cool. It's anti-inflammatory. It's good for the immune system. All kinds of great benefits of chocolate. So 2 pounds of chocolate, 1 can of coconut cream melted over a double boiler, pinch of salt, a little bit of vanilla, add as much salt as tastes good to you, and put that in a pie tin in the fridge. Top it with some nuts. I like walnuts because walnuts are great for the brain, as are almonds, but you need some nuts because it's so creamy that the texture isn't nearly as good if you don't have nuts. And so that's what this is. That's what I had last night with a friend of mine who I had dinner with, and this is just gosh darn delicious. So if you want to make an awesome dessert, this chocolate's great, and I'll give you a way to make chocolate, 2 pounds of chocolate at home in just a moment here. And I'm going to read your comments and questions as I enjoy this. What gives me all my energy? Talking to you. I love this. What could be better than talking with 400 friends about neuroscience, about preventing dementia, about mistakes I made that I learned, so I can share this with you and hopefully you can live a better life. What could be better? I don't know. TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. Remember Steve Urkel? We talked about this last Friday. Steve Urkel was so great. You're awesome. Thank you, Nadia. What do you think of Shilajit? I think it's new as far as the data, and it looks good. Shilajit increases fulvic acid, and that helps protect against the tau tangles in the brain. Tau tangles are inside the neurons, and so fulvic acid is in Shilajit, and and Shilajit is helpful for reducing tau tangles. So I think it's good. Talking without chewing. Yeah, I'm trying to. Can I post the recipe? Write it down. Write down the recipe. I'm going to give you the recipe in full in 20 seconds. Chris Martin. What's that about? Moringa. People have been asking me about Moringa. Patreon. Question about Patreon? I see smiley face Patreon. God bless you. Thank you, Tea with Gospel. Okay, so here is the recipe. Here's how to make chocolate at home. So I started out, one of the things I first started doing when I was working in the field of preventing Alzheimer's disease was making healthy chocolate. I saw so many people eating chocolate. I knew chocolate was good for you, but it was bad. The chocolate most people eat was bad. It was filled with sugar. Excuse me. It was filled with sugar, and it was just bad news. So I started making ketogenic friendly, delicious chocolate packed with curcumin and cinnamon and lion's mane and black pepper. And I even had some matcha in there. I had jammed all these things in there. Anyway, so here's a chocolate recipe you can make at home that's really easy, and it's with regular ingredients. So number 1 cup of coconut oil. I like to get the coconut oil from Costco. It's organic. It's rather inexpensive. Write this down. Anyone who's interested in making this dessert, write this down. This is worth it. 1 cup coconut oil, 1 cup maple syrup or allulose syrup or some sort of liquid sweetener, ideally ketogenic friendly, but maple syrup is good enough if you're not going keto. So 1 and 1, and then 1/2 cup organic fair trade cacao powder, unsweetened. So chocolate powder, cacao powder. Cacao powder is rich in antioxidants. That's the dark chocolate stuff. So 1, 1, 1/2. Got it? You could also do 1, 1, 1 if you want really dark chocolate. So you can do 1, 1, 1 if you want super dark chocolate. You can do 1, 1, 1/2 if you want regular chocolate. Make sense? And then add a tablespoon of maple, of vanilla, tablespoon of vanilla, pinch of salt, might be like a 1/4 teaspoon salt. Mix that up, see how it tastes. That's your chocolate. 1 tablespoon actually might be too much vanilla. Try a teaspoon at first, mix it and taste it. So we got coconut oil, organic, virgin coconut oil, maple syrup, organic fair trade cacao powder mixed together. That's great. Little salt, little vanilla, use that to taste however much you want. That's your chocolate. So make 2 pounds of that and then add your 1 can coconut cream, which is actually kind of expensive. I bought cans of like $5 for a can of coconut cream, but it's totally worth it. And then it makes this delicious thing. So that's how to save yourself a bunch of money, and it's fun. I like playing in the kitchen. Like playing in the kitchen with the intention of making something delicious and making something healthy, I find really fun. It's a nice challenge. And then when you make something that's delicious and great for your brain, all your friends want to come over and eat it. They just need it. It's great stuff. So that's what I got for you with the chocolate. I got one more thing for you, and then we're going to get to some more questions. So I want to share with you one of my favorite spiritual texts. I've been traveling around with this book for years. When I first moved to Boulder, I moved in with a woman and her children, and she and I were in love, and we fell out of love, or she asked me to move out within a couple months, and I was living in my car at the time, and I had a backpack with my stuff. I kept this with me. I'd sleep in the mountains, or I'd sleep in my car, or sleep on friends' couches. This book brought me solace. And I'd actually wake up in the mountains. I was in Boulder at the time. I still am in Boulder. And I'd wake up and I'd find this, and I'd read it, and I just feel really good. And you can turn to any page and just find jewels of knowledge. This is the Bhagavad Gita. This is the Hindu holy book. I really like this version because it's short. You'll see some versions are like this thick. That's commentary. The actual Bhagavad Gita is 70 pages. And so anywhere I turn, I just find wonderful things. Let me see if I can find some good stuff here. Here's one. No one can gain perfection by abstaining from work. Period. That's some deep wisdom right there. You can chew on that for a while. No one can gain perfection by abstaining from work. That means we are here to work, whatever that work is. So for me last night, my personal work was introspection, and then understanding I got a long way to go, and then asking forgiveness. That was some of my personal work. And then some work just simply might be cleaning and helping other people. And so that's a great one. Let me find one more. No one who does good work. This is great. This is a quote. I actually folded a page down, a little dog ear on this page. This one really brings me peace because this is true, which I think it is. It's really reassuring. And I think it's reassuring for most of us here. No one who does good work will ever come to a bad end, either here or in the world to come. Isn't that great? I'm going to read that again. No one who does good work will ever come to a bad end, either here or in the world to come. So if you're good and you're doing good work, there's nothing to fear. Someone asked me that at Burning Man once. I almost cried. And he looked at me and he said, and I told him I was concerned about some things in my life. And he said, Robert, are you a good man? I said, yes, I'd like to think so. And he said, if you're a good man, what do you have to worry about? And I just started crying. I just lost it. And so you are a good person. If you're not a good person always, you aspire to be a good person, and you're probably a good person most of the time. You probably love your family. You probably love your friends, and you're committed to doing good work in the world. You want to do your best. That probably describes you. You're a good person, and you're doing your best. If you do good work, no one who does good work will ever come to a bad end, either here or in the world to come. So no matter what your beliefs are about what's here or in the next world, if you believe in karma in this life or karma afterwards, if you believe in reincarnation, if you believe in heaven or hell, if you do good work in this world, there's nothing to fear because good things happen to you. It might not be right away, but eventually. So that's really comforting for me. And so I really recommend this book. It's a Hindu holy book. My mother, who's a very staunch Catholic, she read this in her, what was it? It wasn't Bible study class. It was like a world religion class through her church, through her Catholic church. They studied the Bhagavad Gita. Awesome. Something for everyone in here. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your specific belief or faith is, or non-faith or belief. This has got wisdom in it that most people will agree with because it's really, really gosh darn good. I highly recommend it, the Bhagavad Gita. And this, where's that passage? That passage is in chapter, I think it's the end of chapter 6, called The Practice of Meditation, the end of chapter 6. By the way, I read the Mahabharata. I read the summary of it. The Mahabharata is this massive book that's thousands of pages long. That's like this story of many stories where the Bhagavad Gita is taken from it. The Mahabharata, you can watch a movie on it. The movie's like 3 hours long. And then the Mahabharata book, it's like the Iliad and the Odyssey put together 3 times. It's really, really long, but I read a couple summaries of it. That's a really interesting book, and I've been talking with my Hindu friends. Some people I was doing a business venture with, they were Indian, and I was talking about the Mahabharata. That's just a really great story. So many interesting characters in it. It's about 4 brothers. They're trying to fight their evil stepbrothers for control of the kingdom, and it's really, really interesting. A lot of lessons in there. And this, which is what everyone remembers, is the best meat, the best wisdom from the Mahabharata, and it's the one that everyone remembers. Okay, let me see your questions. So since we've been out here for a while, I'd love to see your name again. Tell me if you've already checked in, great, but let me see your first name, where you're from, and let me see some questions about the brain, and I'll answer some of them. I'm not going to stay on for super late tonight. I'm actually packing up all my stuff tonight because I'm flying out tomorrow to Austin, and I want to make sure that I'm packed and I don't leave anything. So see a brain fog and long haul virus related question. If you or someone you love has had long haul virus and you're having trouble with your brain, I'm very sorry. Here's what I have for you. Underneath my profile is a link for a free masterclass on long haul virus. It's with the very smart, very, very good looking Dr. Linnell King from Johns Hopkins. I think it's the last link under my profile, under my link tree. Go there, go to the bottom, register, watch this class for free. It's 5 parts, free information, a deep dive into long haul virus. I hope that's helpful to you. Brain fog due to hypothyroidism. Please help. Yes, I have an answer for you. Reverse the hypothyroidism. First, not a medical doctor, I'm a neuroscientist. Check with your medical doctor. Work with someone who specializes in reversing hypothyroidism. One of my dear friends, I used to live in Austin. I went to grad school there. One of my dear friends, Dr. Laura Presley, she ran for city council. I met her working with Fluoride Free Austin. We are a political action group trying to get fluoride removed from Austin city water. Dr. Laura Presley, who's a chemist, she had hypothyroidism. She had Hashimoto's disease. Why? In part from fluoride. Fluoride basically replaces iodine in your thyroid, reduces thyroid function, reduces the production of thyroid hormone. That's a big problem. So, if you have hypothyroidism or a poorly functioning thyroid or Hashimoto's disease, consider removing fluoride from your diet. If you don't have them, I recommend considering removing fluoride from your diet. What's the link again? It's below my link tree. It's the last link on there. It's long haul virus. And so, remove fluoride by removing packaged drinks like your Gatorades, like anything that comes in a can or bottle. Check it out. Am I single? Yes, I am. Anything that comes in one of those, don't drink it. Try not to drink those things. If you go out to dinner, bring your own bottles of water. Drink in your home. Get a Berkey filter to remove the water, or get a reverse osmosis filter, or get fluoride-free spring water. Do your very, very, very best to absolutely eliminate all fluoride from your waters, and then try to drink or try to eat meat. If you eat meat that's fluoride free. So theoretically, organic grass-fed beef is less likely to be fed fluoridated water than conventional beef. That makes sense to me. It may not be true because if they're both drinking tap water, there's fluoridated tap water, probably hard to avoid, but do your very best to eliminate fluoride. And then my friend, Dr. Laura Presley, she got better. She had Hashimoto's. She goes to her doctor and says, hey, I cut out fluoride and my Hashimoto's went away. The doctor said, oh yeah, that'll happen. And she said, well, why didn't you tell me, doctor? Why didn't you tell me that if I did this, I would get better? He said, well, because it's so hard to do, most people won't do it. And she said, well, at least I'd like a choice, right? So you have a choice. If you have a thyroid issue, do your very best to eliminate fluoride. That's one of the best things you can do to protect your thyroid. A lot of thyroid medications are basically just, if I understand it, I think a lot of them are just a bunch of iodine to try to get iodine in there. But anyway, so do that. By the way, if you want some supplements, not only to improve alertness and brain health, but also to help with help ensure that you have the raw materials to make thyroid hormone, write this down. L-tyrosine, which is an amino acid found in meat, found in protein. So L-tyrosine. L-tyrosine is also a precursor to dopamine. So when you take L-tyrosine, it allows your brain to make dopamine more easily. I like L-tyrosine as a focus aid. I think it's a great thing for ADHD, especially before giving stimulants, especially for kids. Not recommending this for kids, but L-tyrosine way safer than stimulant drugs for kids. So L-tyrosine. What else is in there? Iodine, and then what's the third one? Is it selenium? There's three things to take together that are precursors for thyroid hormone. I know it's L-tyrosine, iodine, and there's a third one in there. I think it might be selenium. I don't remember. People keep on writing selenium. Is it selenium? Is that the trio? I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, but it's L-tyrosine and iodine for sure, and that helps thyroid function. So L-tyrosine in general helps thyroid function. Actually, if you look up supplements for hypothyroidism, you'll see pretty large doses of L-tyrosine. I recommend start with 250 to 500 milligrams of L-tyrosine. That's a reasonable dose for most people. More than that can be kind of jittery. Those for hypothyroidism, they're saying like 2,000 milligrams. So check with someone who's a healthcare practitioner if you're taking this for hypothyroidism, and L-tyrosine, very, very helpful. So Daisy May says, I thought tonight was date night. Date night was last night. Thank you for asking. What about L-theanine? L-theanine is calming. L-theanine is an amino acid that is calming. L-tyrosine is one that's energetic because it gives us the raw materials to increase dopamine. L-theanine is an amino acid found in green tea and black tea and matcha, and it's calming, relaxing, reduces stress, reduces cortisol. Okay, Brazil nuts. Yes, 2 Brazil nuts for selenium. So my opinion on soda, I think generally speaking, it's really, really bad. And especially, diet soda is really bad. High fructose corn syrup soda is really bad. You might find some made with stevia that aren't so bad. So that would be better. Soda has no benefits. Stop drinking it. Yeah, that's not bad advice. What do I think of neurofeedback? I haven't experienced it myself, and I don't know what the data is on Alzheimer's disease. I have some friends who've used it for their kids with anxiety, and they've said it's very helpful. I'm sorry, I saw a question that was distracting me. Do I date people of color? I'm single. Yes, I do. One of my girlfriends when I was in graduate school, she was from Africa. Where is her family from? Nigeria. She was a beautiful Nigerian. It was really interesting. And she was also a libertarian. I take the libertarian persuasion in politics, which is small government, which is maximum freedom, minimum government. So libertarianism believes you should be able to do whatever drugs you like as long as you don't hurt other people. That's reasonable, right? A lot of people believe that today. Libertarianism believes that we shouldn't have war because that's taking tax, and also low taxes. Also, death penalty is wrong because it's giving the government an extreme amount of control. If the government can kill you, we think that's a lot of government. So libertarians are opposed to the death penalty, for example. Also, libertarians are in favor of gay marriage. 2 people want to get married and they're consenting and they're adults. Who on earth is the government to stop 2 people from getting married? That's big government to say who you can marry. So she and I got together along really well as far as politics, and she had these beautiful teeth, just these beautiful white straight teeth, and we were actually working on the fluoride thing together. And we're at this conference, we're talking to some city council people, and they're talking about how we need fluoride in the water. And she said, "Well, listen, I'm from Nigeria, and we eat healthy food and we don't eat grains, and we actually sometimes we use sticks to clean our teeth, and we have super healthy teeth. And you look at her teeth were amazing. And so there's some if you see people from Africa who've grown up who aren't eating wheat, who aren't eating agriculture, but eat more of the native food, they have really good teeth. It's really interesting. I just finished this documentary on, I think it's called The Perfect Human Diet. I've been talking about it. I'm sorry, I've been giving you the wrong title. It's called The Perfect Human Diet. It's on YouTube. I think it's got 150,000 views, if I'm correct. It's like doubled in the last week. It's really good. And they talk about the history of what humans ate. For most of our time, we've eaten what you think we would have eaten. We've eaten wild vegetables, nuts, some fruit, and meat. That's what we've eaten for the majority of our human history. In the last 10,000 years, we started eating agriculture. That was the birth of civilization, right? We didn't have to travel. Agriculture was an amazing gift to humans because now we could stay in one place, build homes, develop technology, share learning, and grow our food. The challenge is that food was less good for our health. The grains that we eat are less good, and those people had more tooth decay, I believe. I think we have more tooth decay now with the standard American diet, the SAD diet in the United States. We have more tooth decay than people do in Africa who are eating a more traditional human diet. Very interesting. So really interesting documentary. I really recommend it. The Perfect Human Diet. And it's on YouTube for free. It's about an hour and a half. Really interesting. I just started watching the documentary Fat Number 2. It talks about the benefits of fat for the brain and body, and it has a lot of scientific science journalists that are. So it's interesting. Scientists oftentimes don't speak in a way that's intelligible to others. I think that's my strength as a neuroscientist. I can read the data and understand the data and do research myself, and then share it. This was one of my gifts. Andrew Huberman, excellent at sharing data. Dr. David Sinclair, excellent at sharing these things. Max Lugavere is a science journalist. He's a citizen scientist. He's great at sharing the science. Same thing with Dr. David Perlmutter, Dr. Stephen Gundry. But most scientists have real trouble sharing their stuff. They use all the jargon, they use big words, they confuse people, and we don't know what to do with their information. And so these scientific journalists that really research diet, they share the data in a really understandable way. So the documentary Fat is really well done as well. Both of them I really highly recommend. And the key thing is, let's call ourselves scientists for the sake of this conversation. We as scientists want to not be attached to any outcome. So if somehow data comes out next week that actually chocolate and walnuts are bad, and they did some serious work to show that these two things are actually not good for the brain, I want to be open to looking at that data and saying, wow, if that's true, maybe I want to reconsider my stance on chocolate. We want the data to inform our decisions, the data to inform our opinions. The challenge with dieting, and they talk about this in the documentary Fat, some of these scientific journalists are calling people up and saying, hey, I want to talk about trans fats. And the scientist on the other end of the phone would say, if that's your stance on trans fats, I can't talk to you. That's not the response of a scientist. That's the response of dogma. That's the response of someone who believes something blindly like a religion. If you're a scientist, we are responsible to the data, right? That's the authority. The authority is not me. The authority is not anyone in a higher position. The authority is the data, the evidence. That's what we listen to. And so the idea that there are, quote, scientists out there who are talking about food and health, these are really important things. What's more important right now in science than food and health? I don't know, but our food really affects our health, and the idea that we have these quote unquote experts who aren't looking at the data but instead are informed by dogma, that's a real problem. And so in this movie, it's called Fat Number 2, these scientific journalists are calling people up and saying, hey, you published a paper that grains are good for the brain and health. I'm researching the benefits of fat. I want to talk to you. Can we talk about your data, and can I show you this new data? And a lot of people are saying, no, I won't talk to you. I don't agree with your position. You don't need to agree with someone's position as a scientist. Present your data and talk about it. That's the idea. So that's what I got for you. Questions. So those are two great documentaries. I get sick eating fast food. Yeah, because it's not food. Opinion on kombucha. Delicious, great substitute for alcohol. What do I think about NMN? I think they're great. I take them. Nicotinamide mononucleotide. I'm going to burn through a bunch of questions here. Is it possible to increase something in the brains? Hypocretin erect. I'm sorry, I lost you. Can you reverse type 2 diabetes? Yes. According to the research, according to the data, a ketogenic diet can help reverse insulin insensitivity. This is really big for Alzheimer's disease. One of the major risk factors for Alzheimer's disease. If you've seen the masterclass, by the way, if you've seen the masterclass, would you blow up the chat? Let me know if you've seen the free masterclass that is below my profile. If you watch my free masterclass, it's 45 minutes. Blow up the chat. Let me know if you've seen it. Let me know what you think of it. In this masterclass, I go through the 6 types of Alzheimer's disease. I'm going to give you a mnemonic for them. They spell NEE, MCT. NEE stands for nutrition, inflammation, and then insulin insensitivity. So that's diabetes. And then we got, I'm not seeing a whole lot of yeses for the masterclass. Listen, if you think this is fun, you should see me, just giving you the science. I mean, this is more fun. I'm going to watch it now. Great. It's free. It's underneath my link tree. So underneath my profile is my link tree. Underneath that, it says free masterclass, how to prevent Alzheimer's disease. I put that together. It's for you. It's for free. Go to the webpage, register. It's totally free. And then watch it. And then take notes. And then share what you learn with others. It's really good stuff. And so the 6 types of Alzheimer's disease are NEE, MCT, and nutrition, inflammation, insulin insensitivity or type 2 diabetes, then M, MCT, heavy metals, M for heavy metals, and then C, cardiovascular, and then T, traumatic brain injury. Those are the 6 types. I know I'm doing weird things with my fingers. 6 types of Alzheimer's disease. And so it's really important to reverse insulin insensitivity or reverse type 2 diabetes. I just did an interview today for a masterclass with Dr. Michael Gaeta, who is a Chinese and functional medicine doctor for the last 32 years. He and I had a great conversation. I actually recorded some content I'm going to release on TikTok. I released one today that's really fun. It's about the 3 best supplements for the brain. You can check that out after this. And what he shared was that about 30% of Americans are diabetic or pre-diabetic. That's amazing. 1 in 3 Americans are diabetic or pre-diabetic. That means 1 in 3 Americans have a trouble with their insulin sensitivity. They're insulin insensitive, meaning the hormone insulin, which tells the cells to uptake glucose, uptake sugar, it's not working well. That's a problem. That's a risk factor for Alzheimer's disease. It's a real big problem. So you can reverse insulin insensitivity. First, I recommend working with a coach or a medical practitioner who specializes in this. I don't recommend doing this on your own because it's serious and it's really important and it's worth the investment. Invest in yourself, invest in your health. Reversing, if you have pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes, reversing your type 2 diabetes is one of the best things you can do. And then we're going to talk about a diabetes medication. So invest in yourself, please, 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 please. And here's how to do it. So find someone who specializes in people who reverse insulin insensitivity with the ketogenic diet. That's what I would recommend you do because the ketogenic diet has shown to reverse type 2 diabetes and insulin insensitivity. But do it with a professional who can help you and guide you and shortcut the process. Tap the screen if you want. There you go. There you go, Kathy, or Kath will too. So that's my answer to that. Narcolepsy supplements. Well, if you have narcolepsy, you can get a prescription for Adderall or modafinil. Interestingly, a lot of, I heard this from Dave Asprey, a lot of runners, like sprinters or marathon runners, they are asking for, they're going to their doctor saying they have narcolepsy so they can get a prescription for modafinil so they can perform better, interestingly. Also, baseball players, professional baseball players, I think adult ADHD affects about 10% of the adult population. For baseball players in the United States, professional baseball players, I think it's about 40% of them. It might be 30%. It's high. It's 30 or 40% have ADHD, which means they get Adderall and Ritalin. That helps hitting. Imagine if you're a baseball player and you get paid the big bucks, you pay the most money for hitting a baseball. What does that require? First of all, it requires focus and razor sharp focus for those short periods of time. What's going to help with that? Amphetamine, Adderall and Ritalin, and Vyvanse. And so a lot of baseball players get those prescriptions. By the way, if there are any baseball fans out there, I used to live with a big New York Yankees fan. Aaron Judge is breaking the home run record this year. I think he's already tied it. I don't know if he's broken it, but that's really cool. And so congratulations to him. Let's see here. Thoughts on the pescatarian diet. I eat a lot of fish. That's my primary source of protein. I eat fish and eggs. Eggs are rich in choline. Choline is a precursor to acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is what I call the master molecule of memory. It is a neurotransmitter involved in memory in the hippocampus of the brain. So I get a lot of protein from eggs, specifically egg yolks. And I eat a lot of fish. Specifically, I eat sardines, but I've also been eating more herring recently. Herring's so good. One of my friend's sons, he's 4. I gave him some pickled herring. He loved it. He loved it. We even made a little video about it. But he's like this little kid. He's like, ooh, this herring tastes good. This fish tastes good. So if you don't mind the fishy taste, if you don't mind the taste of kind of solid white albacore tuna, if you don't mind that really fishy stuff, sardines are great. And if you want something that doesn't taste like fish, pickled herring is really, really good. So pescatarian, I think it's a really good idea. I think importantly, we want a diet, and you want to do what works best for you. We have different digestive systems. Jordan Peterson, who I really like, I think he's a seminal thinker, and I think he's an honest, good person. He talks about his diet. He's on carnivore. Not only that, but he's just on beef. He said, when I eat anything but beef, I get sick. And I'm basically stuck in bed with no energy. I'm not going to say what's right for him. He knows what's best for him. For some reason, it's beef. And people said, do you recommend this diet for other people? He said, absolutely not. It's miserable. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like eating beef with just a little bit of salt. It's not fun. And so I don't recommend that for people. That might work best for you or for Jordan Peterson or for somebody else. I recommend eat what's best for you. For me, I think this is true for most people, generally speaking, but for me, I like to eat a lot of vegetables, a lot of plant material. I think we want a diet rich in plants, not necessarily comprised only of plants, but rich in plants and not grains. Think grains. Someone asked me this 2 nights ago. What are grains? Grains are things that are cultivated. So don't think things that are grown. I think the one exception is black rice because it's so rich in polyphenols. Other than that, we don't want things that are cultivated and grown like a grain. We want things that grew wild. So think vegetables that grew wild, or think fruits, and then eating a lot of those, a lot of fiber, and then healthy proteins, whatever healthy protein is. For you, healthy protein might be a bunch of tempeh if you are vegan or vegetarian. If you're a pescatarian, it might be fish. And if you're an omnivore, it might be grass-fed beef, pastured chicken, and sardines. I definitely recommend a serving of fish, ideally every day or every other day. Research from Dr. David Smith at Oxford found that up to a serving of fatty fish a day was really good for reducing the risk of Alzheimer's disease. And I mean the fatty fish, these are the smash fish. If you know them, say them with me. I'm going to start with salmon. Here we go. Salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. Let's do that again. Salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. You want wild-caught salmon, and you want Atlantic mackerel. Farm-raised salmon, unfortunately, can have lice in them and are much less healthy for us. And then you want Atlantic mackerel. King mackerel is too big. Now, what's great about smash fish is they're rich in fats and they're low in mercury. They're small. They're sustainable. They're really good. Sardines are amazing. I agree. Blessed Reveals. Absolutely. Blessed Reveals, would you type in your first name? I so appreciate seeing you. You've been with me You've been following me on my channel for a couple months now. I've seen your comments. So you were with me when I had 50,000 subscribers, not 300,000 subscribers or followers. So I'd love to know. AWO, you keep putting the same comments. What's my opinion on benfotiamine? I don't know that company. And please don't keep putting the same question in over and over again. I find it a little distracting. So blessed be. I'd love to know what your first name is because I've seen you here for so long. Right. Something I said we do on Wednesday. I said next time I come on live, we're going to do some work with an individual. So if someone wants to come on with me live and they have a question, we're going to do some work together. Before you do, here's how it's going to work. I want to share the story with you because it's really informative. A close friend of mine, he runs a software company for printers, and he has clients who have, let's say, real estate offices. They got 100 real estate offices. His software helps them install printers. Kind of a big deal, really helpful. He gets this message from an IT person who messaged another IT person saying, hey, the printer software isn't working. So there's a whole chain of emails that finally got to my friend. And my friend finally said, hey, you're giving me all this data. I'm looking through the records. It doesn't look like there's a problem. Let's get this person on Zoom. Let's look at their computer. Let's see what she is doing and help her. So he went to the source. This is the lesson. So here's the end of the story. So they get on Zoom and he says, hey, so show me, what are you trying to do to install the printer software? She gets on Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer has been done for 3 years. It's no longer supported by Microsoft. So the software is not compatible for Internet Explorer. As soon as she went to another browser, It worked like that. Here's the lesson. Go to the source. So with what I share with you here, this might be helpful for you in your life. And it's important for you to look at your life first. Go to the source and look at what's most helpful for you. Do you need to work on your diet first? Is it more about exercise for you? Is it reducing stress? Is it forgiving yourself and others? Is it taking supplements? Is it, what is it that's going to be most helpful for you and your health? Go to the source. And so remember, when a problem comes your way, and it likely will, someone said, how do you know? Problems are great. Problems are evidence of life. Problems say that you're alive. Any Zig Ziglar fans, blow up the chat if you know Zig Ziglar. I love Zig Ziglar. And he said, I'll take you to a place where people have no problems. Took them to a graveyard. Those people, they got no problems, right? So problems are a sign of life. So when problems come your way, go to the source if you can. If someone has a problem, talk to that person directly rather than what they heard about what they heard or what they heard about that person. Talking to the person directly gives you a chance to learn from them. So we're going to do that here. So I'm going to talk with someone directly, and we're going to find out how I can be of best help and what things would be best for their health and optimizing their brain health and reducing the risk of Alzheimer's disease. So who wants to play? Please ask to join me, and we'll be live together for 5 or 10 minutes, hopefully closer to 5. That way we can do more of these, and let's do some one-on-one coaching here. Are geniuses born or made? Probably both. I think we have the potential to be geniuses when we're born, and then we have to work at them. I was watching something, professional basketball player on Instagram, and he said, if you knew how hard I worked, you'd be really impressed. My family knows how hard I work. My team knows how hard I work. My fans don't get it. He said, I work so darn hard to be this good. So work really hard. I think most geniuses work really hard and they're passionate about what they do, and so they love it. If you ask Leonardo da Vinci, how much do you work? He'd either say all the time or never, because he's doing it all the time. It's his life. Leonardo da Vinci's work was basically every waking moment. And so, did he have the capacity for genius? Clearly. Was he a genius? I would say so. Most of us would agree. Damia, would you please stop posting EEG testing? I keep on seeing that. It's confusing to me. Please don't put the same thing over and over again in the chat. It catches my eye, and then I get confused why you keep doing that. I'm going to address questions when I can. So geniuses work really, really hard. So no one seems to want to join here. I asked this last time. People want to do live one-on-one coaching with me, and I got a bunch of yeses, and no one has offered to join me. So if you want to join, please join, and I'll let you on. Guests, no one's asking. All right, if you want to do this, let me know. I would love to join. All right, so who is that? Hi, I am Thriving 420. What up? So I'm in. Noah, so here we go. 4 messages. Who's the first one? Okay, so Mac Total 1, you get to go first, and then Spider-Man. So stay in the queue. Okay, we're going live here.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm actually a big fan of you, all the way from Yemen. It's
hi.
It's almost like 6 o'clock in the morning over here.
Oh my goodness, have you been staying up for this?
Well, yeah, kinda.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm honored. What's your name?
My name is Yasser.
Hi, Yasser. Very nice to meet you.
Oh, me too, actually. I just still have a couple of questions I want to ask you.
Yeah, how can I be helpful?
Well, what do you think about the red light therapy for the brain?
So I haven't seen good data on this. Infrared saunas are really great. Those are good for detoxing, and saunas in general are great for detoxing. You're asking about something different. You're asking about red light therapy. I haven't seen good data on it. Excuse me, I'm spitting up chocolate here. And so I don't have a good answer for you. I will check out the data. I will have an answer the next time I go live. I'll at least have looked at some articles, but I haven't seen it myself, and so I'm not able to. I can't give you an answer for that, Yemen.
Sure.
No, Yasser. Excuse me. You're from Yemen. Your name is Yasser. I
Yes,
apologize,
yes,
Yasser.
no problem. My second question is, I'm not sure about the brand called Ancestral Supplements.
I
It's
have
like
not
from
heard them,
New
but
Zealand.
it's a good sounding name.
Yeah, well, what they do is they have like grass-fed beef liver supplements,
Oh,
organs.
nice.
Yeah, and they're all grass-fed and grass-finished.
I
Um,
think that sounds like a really good idea. So ideally,
yeah.
as most of you know, it's best to get our nutrition from food, not supplements. So it's better to have a healthy diet than it is to take supplements. Supplements, I think, are a great way to get a lot of healthy stuff into our bodies, especially things like curcumin and cinnamon, where we're not going to eat a lot, and that they have supplements made from organs. So organ meat generally is very rich in vitamins and nutrients. So if they have organ meat from grass-fed animals, that sounds like a great supplement to me. I haven't experienced it myself. I haven't read it, but what you're describing sounds really good.
Yeah, actually, they're from New Zealand, and they have also eggfish supplements. So I was wondering, like, what do you think about it?
Eggfish.
Yeah, it's wild caught eggfish supplements.
So are these the
Frozen
eggs of
pet.
fish?
Yes,
So it sounds like caviar. We call that caviar in the United States, the eggs of
it's no, no,
fish or fish roe.
yeah, it's I don't know, but it says eggfish.
I
They
don't know what that is. There are great fish supplements. I think fish oil is great. Krill oil, Krill, also very rich in omega 3 antioxidants. That's great. And then if you're vegan or vegetarian, you got algae oil, also flaxseed oil and hemp seed oil. And also, I like eating fish. I think you want eating fish is better than a fish oil supplement. Sardines, mackerel, anchovies, salmon, and herring. So I'd recommend that first before taking one of these supplements. And I don't know what this supplement is. I don't know what eggfish is.
So is
If
that
it
okay?
is,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
don't know. I can't speak to it because I don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
recommend
I
eating
get it. I
fish
get it.
above that. And if you're not going to eat fish, I'd recommend finding another source of healthy omega 3s like algae oil if you're going to be vegetarian or vegan, or flaxseed oil and hemp seed oil.
So sardines, if I have it like daily, is that fine?
You have what?
Like sardines?
Yes, sardines are awesome. They're from Sardinia, which is very close to you, relatively far from me. But Sardinia, it's right off the boot of Italy. Um, that's pretty close to your neck of the woods. Sardines are great. They're rich in omega 3s. They're low in mercury, and they're very sustainable. So I think sardines are great. Well, Yasser, it's been great talking to you. It's
Thank
very
you.
nice meeting you. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Have a great night or have a great morning. Okay, how do I let him go and then invite the next person? The guest has gone offline. Terrific. Okay, next we got Spider Man and then Sugrisal H. I don't know how to say your name. I hope that's correct. Okay, so Spider Man 88889. You're coming on here.
Robert,
Hello.
how you going?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, going well. My name's Hayden. I've got CRPS, which is complex regional pain syndrome. Have had it for 5.5 years. Now, I'm from Australia. I'm here in the
Hi.
States. I'm in
Great
Arkansas.
to have you.
Yeah, I've just discovered you maybe a week ago. So I'm a newbie to your site, and I'm very
Oh,
honoured to.
well, thank you. It's great to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been in a clinic for 20 weeks. It's called the Spiro Clinic. Done really well. Leaving that clinic now to going to a new clinic. It's called Invictus Health Spa, and they do ozone ultraviolet light. Can you talk to me about that? Because the people,
What's your condition? Do you have a condition you're currently dealing with?
yeah, complex regional pain syndrome.
Can you talk about what that is?
It's basically the nervous system shutting down and affecting all your limbs,
Oh
organs,
goodness.
and it spreads. It's the most hideous disease ever. Yeah.
Oh goodness. And do we
And
know what causes it? What's the underlying cause?
trauma, any trauma to the body affects the nervous system, basically, in short. Whether you have an operation, it can be minor. Some people just get it and just don't know what sort of trauma or what as
So
fired it.
is this head trauma, or is this from other
No, this
trauma
is
to this?
trauma through the body. This is basically just it wreaks havoc through the nervous system, and it's basically a malfunction in your brain. So your brain's saying there's a problem, but really there's not, and basically it shuts down your organs. So basically, I went from a fit human being riding my push bike 5 days. Yeah, didn't have a car, rode my bike for 5 years, no problem at all. A fit athlete to basically bedridden for 2.5 years.
Oh
I've come
no,
to this.
I'm
Yeah,
so sorry.
I've come to this
Um,
clinic. I've come to this clinic here in Arkansas, and yeah, I've done 20 weeks, and now I'm up and about. But I'm just discovered, and we've had some great results from a lot of patients at the clinic, and they've gone onto ozone ultraviolet therapy.
yeah. What's been helpful? Tell me what's worked for you so far. What's worked for other people with this condition?
Yeah, well, this is part of the this is part of the story, that we've only just discovered how awesome this therapy is. Basically, putting ozone in your system, and I've just had 2 therapies. I'm programmed to have 10, and yeah, some amazing results. Amazing.
Good.
There's, the doctor's name's Dr. Carey, and she's a true doctor. She's been in this field all her life, and she just branched out, and she's so busy, and yeah, she's getting great results.
What's the name of the disease? Can you spell it? And then can someone please type it in the chat? I don't have my notebook with me. I'm not able to. Uh,
Complex
complex
regional
regional
pain
pain.
syndrome.
Complex regional pain syndrome. Well, thank you for telling me about this. I don't know anything about this. This is
Yes,
news to me.
most people
So
don't. Most people don't.
trauma from the brain. So interestingly, if I were to, TBI, traumatic brain injury or concussion or things like this, if someone were working on regrowing the brain, thank you for reposting that complex regional pain syndrome. If someone had trouble had trauma to the brain, I'd recommend the brain building things, which is what we were just talking about. Our brain is built of healthy fats.
Yes.
So I'd make sure people are getting enough healthy fats to both regrow and repair the brain. So a lot of fish oil, a lot of fish, healthy sources of healthy fats for the brain. Plenty of B complex, plenty of vitamin D. Vitamin D is a
Yeah. Doing
trophic
that.
factor
Yep.
for the brain. And then things like lion's mane. Lion's mane increases both brain-derived neurotrophic factor and nerve growth factor, BDNF and NGF. Those are great. And then I don't know if you're able to do exercise. Exercise is great for the brain. It stimulates actually the growth of the hippocampus in older adults. It increases hippocampal volume. And so those things could be really helpful. By the way, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving medical
No,
advice.
no, that's
Neuroscience.
okay. No, all good.
I'm just
All
giving
good.
you my best understanding of the science at this time.
So, in short, um, exercise, great brain food, fish, lots of fish, um,
Yeah, the
clean
smash
water.
fish, salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. If I could choose one, I might choose wild caught salmon. It is so dense in nutrients, it's crazy.
Okay.
I had some
Okay.
wild caught
Are
that
you in
was
America? Where do you buy fish from? What do you trust to buy your fish?
so wild caught salmon is relatively expensive. The time that I've had it, it was a gift to my brother-in-law for Christmas, and it was flown in on ice, and we immediately chopped it up, and I just ate it raw. It was insanely good. So I don't know the best source of it. I'll tell you where I get most of my fish. Most of my fish I get are sardines from Costco. I add a little apple cider vinegar to that. You could also get herring. Pickled herring is really tasty from Whole Foods. Um,
Yep. There's one around the corner. Perfect. Yep.
yeah, so give that a shot, depending on how fishy you like your foods, those are great. And then there's a fish oil from, is it Nature Forces, omega 3s.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Unfortunately, this company that I really like, they don't have um, they don't have a good name because I seemingly have trouble remembering it. It's not very memorable. Dave Asprey's got a great name, Bulletproof. I remember that name. This company,
Yep.
it's like Horse or Pure Naturals. I don't remember the name.
Yep.
That's a really good fish oil. And so, yeah, eating brain healthy foods and giving your brain the raw materials to build itself is really great. Ozone, I know, is helpful in cell treatments for joints. I don't know
Yep.
exactly what it is, but that's really helpful.
Well, it
So
helps the immune system. It helps the immune system, and anything that like Lyme disease. Yeah, it's lots of positive stories that I'm hearing, that chronic pain, Lyme disease, fatigue, EBV, cancer, allergies. Yeah, it's really beneficial. I was just wondering if you've heard of any of your experience through it. Yeah, because I'm only.
Yeah, I haven't experienced this particular
This is my
condition.
second. Go on.
One other thing I'd recommend is making sure your gut bacteria are really healthy. Our gut bacteria, a lot of our neurotransmitters are made in the gut, specifically dopamine and serotonin. Our gut
Yeah.
bacteria make vitamin K, which our brain really likes. So make sure you're eating enough fiber, enough probiotics, enough things that are going to keep your gut buddies happy, and that
Yes.
healthy as well. So I'd recommend really optimizing your nutrition so your gut microbiome is healthy and your brain is healthy and has the raw materials it needs. I think that I think that
Yeah.
helpful in recovery.
Just before I go, wild blueberries. I love wild blueberries. Do you know much about wild blueberries from Canada?
Yeah, he's great.
They're amazing.
Yeah, they're great.
Yes. They're good. Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, wild blueberries are great. They're expensive and hard to find, and organic blueberries are good, but wild blueberries are totally the best. I fully agree.
Wild blueberries, not blueberries. Wild blueberries have to be wild blueberries, don't they? That's the key. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It's been so nice talking with you. Prayers and blessings to you. I really hope your recovery goes well.
I'm rising. I'm nearly ready to go. So it's been a long 5 years. But Robert, lovely talking to you. Thank you for giving me your time.
Oh, you're so welcome. Please post in the comments or join us in another live and let me know how your progress goes. I'd love to know.
And how often do you come on? Like, are you?
I've been doing live. I've been doing lives most weekday evenings.
Okay, cool.
Are you in the United States or are you back in Australia?
No, I've been here since May 20. Yeah.
Okay, you're in the United States. So about 8, 9 p.m. Mountain time is when I come on.
Yep.
And so something like that. So please, or if you're not on the lives, drop a note in one of the videos. I'd love to hear how you're doing.
And if you got a medical background, or you're obviously invested in health and well-being.
Yeah, I'm a neuroscientist. I'm not a medical doctor, and so
yes,
the food really affects our
body.
brain health, and so that's why I'm interested in that. Plus, I'm a human and I like food, and so I learn about it.
Same.
I'm not a medical professional.
And how long you been? What you are now? How long you been in that field for? All your life?
I've been focusing specifically on Alzheimer's prevention for the last 3 years. Prior to that, I was working in coaching with people with ADHD and families with ADHD.
Okay. Have you got a family connected in that field, or you just passionate about?
No, I was working with the parents of children who had ADHD.
Yep.
And so out of graduate school, that's what I was most interested in. And that's where I was working in. And then I got concerned about my parents' health, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to help my parents keep their brains healthy. And so I started doing research and focusing on Alzheimer's disease and longevity.
Okay, I love it, brilliant, Robert. Thank you, appreciate it.
Great talking to you. Many blessings to you.
Yeah, I'll be in touch more. Great work.
Bye-bye. So I'd love to hear from you who are watching. Are these helpful? Are these good? Are these not so good? Let me know. This is the first time we've been doing these live chats here on the call. Let me know if these are good or not so good. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I want to thank my two guests for coming on and being honest, being vulnerable, and sharing what's going on. Yes, it's very interesting. Yes, love it. Very helpful. Yes, very much. It's okay if it's not. I just want honest feedback. I want to be of greatest service to the greatest number of people. Yes, very helpful, interesting, helpful. Very good. That was great. He seemed genuine. Yes, he did. Love it. They're very good. Thoughts on lentils. That's not a comment. God is loved. Thoughts on lentils. Supplements for glioblastoma. That's not a comment on this. Love it. Probiotics, are they worth taking? If you take the right ones. And then there you are. So we're going to do one more. We're going to do Shug Risal H. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. We're going to do this, and then we'll talk for a little bit more, and we'll sign off. Hi.
Hi, Dr. Robert. Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you?
I am good. I've been following you, and I'm really enjoying. I'm always reading everything about the brain. I'm a little fanatic there. So.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank
Let's
you.
give her a hand for being a student. You are responsible for your health. Great job taking your health
Yeah, I have a really interesting story to tell you, and I have a couple of points to talk to you. So last year has been a very interesting year for me. I got so sick, I almost died, but I wanted to
Oh
give
no.
you a little picture of what was going on to prior to that. First, I have to say that I come from, from a civil war, from female circumcision. There was a lot of trauma that was done
So,
to my
where,
body. Can you hear me?
yeah, where are you from?
I'm from Somalia.
Somalia. Oh my gosh. I remember
Yeah,
reading about Somalia when I was in fifth grade, and they were trying to
exactly.
explain
Exactly.
like,
So when
the
the war was happening, I'm one of those
oh my
people who
god.
went to war. And then this is the
How
country.
old are you?
Go ahead, Dr. Rob.
How old are you?
I am 48 now.
Okay, so you were probably
I was probably
15.
15, yeah, when the war happened.
Oh my
And
god. I'm
in
so
fact,
sorry that
I
experience.
I did- I wrote a book called The Last Nomad that happened to be getting award. I've just nominated for one of those Dayton Literary Awards. So thank you.
All
I
right. Well, and what is your name?
My name is Shukri Sal.
Sugar Sal. Let's
Shukri
give Sugar
Sal.
Sal some love in the chats. Congratulations on
Yeah,
writing a book and for and for being nominated. Let's hear it for Sugar
yeah.
Sal.
But I wanted to tell you an interesting story. The book is called The Last Nomad, and it's actually editor's book for Amazon. But really, what I wanted to tell you is in the peak of the COVID, during the COVID, I was working as an RN, like working 13, 14 hour to save people. And then I was a mother to all my siblings. When you come from a trauma, one of the children end up being a mother. I'm not the oldest, but it's just the way it fall through. I think I'm financially best at managing money. So I think trauma does two things. In my experience, you either become good at saving money and managing, or you become terrible and you don't plan for tomorrow. So I think I become one of those people who is very careful with that. But what's interesting to me is in the height of dealing with my sister's divorce, with my brother's death, with working as a COVID, and my book is about to come out. I got so sick to the point that I dropped to 80 pounds.
Oh my gosh, 80
Yeah.
pounds.
80 pounds. I am doctor in my deathbed, and this doctor is pushing more meds and more meds. And I know I'm dying. And I
Oh
looked
my
at myself. I said, I have to do something. And I have always been, mind you, careful person, somebody who takes probiotics, somebody who always fixes her problem by eating better, by doing this. But this really come through a neglect I did during the COVID. I kept it working 14 hours, and the more I eat outside, the more my migraine gets triggered, the more it's just a cascade of things that I couldn't let it go. And I couldn't cook for myself because I had patient after patient, and I come home and I have still documentation. I'm an infusion nurse. So here I am. They finally removed my gallbladder. I see there's an allergic component. Once they removed my gallbladder, I kid you not, a water felt like a burning acid. That's how bad I
oh,
get.
oh my
And I
gosh.
people to the story because I want to tell people how much I have to dig myself out of it. Drinking water was when my stomach was like raw. It felt like acid. And so I said, these doctors were giving me more meds, more things. And I finally get hospitalized in COVID. You don't have a family to advocate for you. And here is a young Black woman who's an immigrant. And, everybody thinks that I don't know what I'm doing. I have one doctor, I don't drink alcohol, but he said there must be something wrong with her. So he kept accusing me, you drink this? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even drink alcohol. So I don't know how that notion come true. So then finally I said, stop everything. I got off everything. And I used, when I was in the hospital, they were giving me IV. And that getting a hydration while my stomach absolutely stayed like nothing eating. And they searched everything. Slowly my body turned. because I come from long line of desert people. So I said there has to, your stomach needs everything. I felt intuitively, and I'll tell you what I did. So eventually, after a long hospital thing, I fought myself way back, and whatever they give me in the hospital, doctor, once I start even feeling a little better, even the soup or the crackers, if it was made with hormones, if it was processed, if it had additive, I will react to it, and it will be a setback. So I left the hospital still in a bad place, but I was like, these people are gonna just kill me. I come home. By then, I figured out I can take this organic shake that's plant based. My body can handle. So I said, if I can handle that, then I started going around. I said, what would my ancestors do? I started boiling organic animals that grazed naturally. I looked at their bones, like make sure that they were not injected with hormones, and started boiling. So I started taking a little bit of soup. And then I said, I felt like I need a liver. So I will go to a place and I go, do you have like organic, naturally grazing? So I have some hippie friends. I'm from Sonoma County. I will literally go to my hippie friends, some of them who were slaughtering animals, and I will bring kidneys and I will cut it. So slowly and steadily in the span of 10 months, I claw myself out of that death bench. So I wanted to give people hope, that you can take no matter what. And so I haven't solved all the problem, but right now I'm back to, like, I'm not a big person to begin. I'm a thin, like you can see my picture. I'm like literally 5'2", 100 pounds in my regular weight. So I'm a small person, but when you're a small person and something happens, you can easily go overboard. So I really now today, I take, MCT oils. I make oatmeal. I bought the sardines. So you can follow me if I have questions I wanted to ask you, doctor. And I really find all the things that you are doing very fascinating, and I find it tickles my brain. One of the things, however, I'm still having a hard time tackling, which I realize what it is due. My migraine, I finally figured out it's due to food allergy. And I'm not kidding you when I said I can't eat outside food. Every time I eat outside food, it triggers my migraine. So no one knows if it's the hormone. I know it's the oil they cook, so I can't eat. So because one time fries I eat in one place, I'm okay. I'm eat another fries some other place, I am so sick. So what I do to my family, no, I will, like, my morning. If I tell you what I had today, for example, I cook this braised egg, and I'm doing this because my body become a litmus test. Once I get sick, all the companies who claim that their product was good, even organic, all I have to do is literally take a bite, as if I have a tongue in the back of my throat. I can tell you, nope, this food has something contained that's really bad. And I'm like, I'm like, all these companies that didn't think they were great, they were good. Like, I take now avocado mayonnaise, but literally all I have to do is test to know that's something. So what I'm really, doctor, realizing is there's a relationship between immunity and trauma. Now, I'm not a researcher, but for someone who pay attention, I almost die allergic, like related things, and my sister almost died of the same thing. And one thing that really helped me the most, interesting, along with the probiotics and cooking food at home and staying outside food, is taking Zyrtec, of all things. Well,
Really?
yeah, it's
Why?
really
Why?
weird, doctor, huh?
Why did that help?
I think because the other day, for example, I made a mistake and I couldn't take any food and it was burning and I was trying to do all of this thing. And I finally remember one of the things that also helped me around was Zyrtec. So I have an allergic component to my sickness. For whatever it is, the foods of this country is not the foods of my ancestors.
And
And we actually
are
know,
you in the
doctor.
United States right now, or are you back in Somalia now?
No, no, no. I am in California. I'm a
Oh, you're in
Californian.
California.
I go ahead.
And so, Sugar Cell, how can I be helpful? First of all, I want to acknowledge you. You've been through a lot. You've been through a civil war growing up. Goodness gracious, I've been very blessed. I haven't had anything like that. very difficult. And
Ask you.
now you're here, you're doing the best you can, and
Yeah.
you have severe medical challenges. How can I be helpful? And I don't
I
want to
think
let
what
you
I am
know,
biggest
I'm not a
concern
medical doctor,
is the
I'm not
migraine.
medical advice. I just want to share the science with you. And so how can I be helpful?
Yeah, thank you. The biggest problem that I have, doctor, is the migraine. Do you have this migraine? Do you have any solution, or do you know anything that
Yeah,
it's a lady? Yeah,
a lot of people get migraines from allergies. So people are
yeah,
saying they had migraines from taking lion's mane. And I said, "Are
yeah,
you allergic to mushrooms?" They said, "I don't know. Could be."
yeah,
So
yeah,
we're all different. We've grown up with different exposures to things, and sometimes we develop allergies as we age for a
yeah,
variety. We don't know exactly why.
yeah,
Interestingly, we actually don't know why asthma happens. Like doctors are
yeah,
still puzzled why some children have asthma and some don't. We know some risk factors, but a lot
yeah,
of these things are well understood. And so a migraine oftentimes is an unknown allergy. Not always, but especially because you've been mentioning allergies, it
yeah,
seems like two things might be happening. One is you're extremely sensitive to something, and
hmm,
is two is that somehow you're getting unhealthy food. You're getting foods cooked in omega sixes. You're getting bad oils. You're getting non-organic food. So something. When you said when you go out, you're getting these challenges. So I think an
hmm,
allergy makes the most sense. And so I'd recommend getting a full allergy panel
yeah,
from a professional. Look at all the things that could be affecting you, and then do an elimination diet. Or if you can't afford that medical test, do the elimination diet. Start with food you absolutely know is okay,
yeah,
and then just eat that and make sure and see if the migraines go away, and then add one food and eat that new food along with
yeah,
the other food. So Jordan Peterson, he did this. He had to go all the way down just to steak, just to beef, and then he could get out of bed. He had to do the
oh,
elimination diet down to one food,
yeah,
and God bless him. And I hope I'm glad he's better now. But that's a really rough life. So I would
yeah,
recommend. And then someone else mentioned something. I don't know what your level of stress is. My guess is you have some serious stress and trauma in your body from this.
yeah,
EMDR is EMDR helpful as is tapping, the emotional freedom technique. You might
yeah,
try release some trauma through some EMDR or some emotional freedom technique, or with some sort of therapist, because there could be
yeah.
some deep trauma inside of you
Yeah.
that's coming up for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you so much. And I think it is inflammation. So one of the things that helps my migraine is I put an ice on my head. So when I have this cap that on ice, and I take Excedrin migraine. But for some reason, one of the biggest thing is slowing down the inflammation. And I do feel when my migraine is up, my whole body aches as well. So I know my inflammation is up too. But I wanted to say,
Definitely address that. And you can address that with an elimination diet by eating only organic food, removing the inflammatory foods like sugar, processed food, those bad oils, really reduce the inflammatory foods, and then reduce your stress. And then there's a couple of anti-inflammatory supplements, not giving you medical advice, but these reduce inflammation, like Ceylon cinnamon and curcumin. I'd start with those two. Those are really safe. Those are really helpful. Those are some anti-inflammatory
can someone
supplements.
down? You take curcumin and what else?
Curcumin,
Curcumin
Ceylon
and
cinnamon, Ceylon. Get organic curcumin with black pepper, and make sure you're taking 180 milligrams of curcumin a day. That's the data we have on helping with brain health. Of course, check with a
okay.
professional, but that could be helpful for reducing inflammation.
And then you mentioned something else, doctor. You say curcumin and one more thing. If
Ceylon
somebody can
cinnamon,
put it in the
Ceylon.
Ceylon.
Yep, that's cinnamon from Sri Lanka. It's also known as true cinnamon. That's the really healthy anti-inflammatory cinnamon. Those are very healthy
Okay.
and safe. Those could be helpful. And then those, if those make migraines worse, notice that you might be allergic to them. So be aware of what you take and how you feel afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. I don't want to take, I want to thank you very much. And if I have a question for you, I could ask if you could follow me. It's hard to leave, it's hard to reach anybody if they don't follow you here. So thank you
Okay.
so much. I want to thank everybody too.
Thank you. All right, let's
Goodbye.
all send Sugar Sal some blessings and love. God bless you, Sugar Sal. And
Thank you.
I'm glad you made it through the Civil War. Goodness gracious.
I did.
Blessings to you. All right. So that was intense. I've seen some questions kind of about my education. There's a link below my profile. There's a link to my education and my background, my history, if you want to read that. Okay. So this has been really fun. I'm just going to answer a couple more questions here. Salon Simon. Yes, that's exactly right. What omega-3s would I take as a woman with ADHD? Well, if you like fish oil is great. Fish, you can do algae oil. Advice for long haul brain fish, you can do algal brain fog. So below my profile is a free masterclass from Dr. Linnell King. He's from Johns Hopkins, and he's got a free masterclass on brain fog, on long haul brain fog. Check out his masterclass. That's like a lot of information. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy. That's also really helpful. HBOT. That's been shown to be helpful. Interestingly, there's been a study from Israel where I think it was 6 weeks of daily HBOT, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, increased telomere length. What does that mean? And so telomeres are kind of the end caps of DNA. Think of like the tips of your shoelaces, and it increased that. So it had this longevity effect. These people actually looked younger. HBOT, not HVOX. HBOT, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, HBOT. That might be helpful as well. Also, make sure you get enough vitamin B complex, not just B12. Take the whole B complex. It's really important to have all the B vitamins for a healthy brain. Okay, I just answered a question about the virus. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm diabetic. What vitamins? So I just did an interview with Dr. Michael Gaeta, who is a Chinese and practicing functional medicine doctor for the last 28 years. Was it 20, 28 or 32? Let's say he's been practicing for a while. And what he shared was that milk thistle is actually really good for helping with type 2 diabetes. So milk thistle might be something to consider. Also, if someone has type 2 diabetes, the ketogenic diet is really, really helpful. There's great published data on that. And there's new data coming out to show that the ketogenic diet is not only good for helping with Alzheimer's disease, but it's also good for Parkinson's disease. Please work with a professional, either a coach who specializes in this or a healthcare practitioner, someone who's familiar. It's difficult to do the ketogenic diet on your own unless you know what you're doing. What are my thoughts on Dr. Amen's SPECT scan? I think Dr. Amen's great. Like, he's doing great work. I like his books. I haven't had a SPECT scan myself, and I would like to. I think they're really great. Do I have an opinion on lithium aspartate? What do you mean? Do you mean lithium for manic depression? Seen you recommend Bacopa Monnieri. Curious it's available in the EU. I live in the United States. It's readily available in the United States. If you live in the EU, I would go to your favorite online store and see if it's available. Do I think antidepressants can cause permanent damage? I've not seen that. There's weird research on antidepressants. First of all, so most antidepressants are called SSRIs, or they're a class of drug called SSRI, which stands for serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Basically, it increases the amount of serotonin in the synapse. And so the thought was that these were helpful, and that these were, and that therefore the lack of serotonin was the cause of depression. Interestingly, new research shows that SSRIs aren't nearly as helpful as we thought they were, and they're almost at the level of a placebo. So they work almost as good as a placebo. Boy, I'm getting some big questions here. What causes multiple sclerosis? I don't know. We don't know what causes multiple sclerosis. I'm getting the really big medical questions here. The multiple sclerosis doctors don't know what causes multiple sclerosis. I'm a neuroscientist. I specialize in helping prevent Alzheimer's disease. I got no clue what causes multiple sclerosis. I have an aunt who has multiple sclerosis, and she has Parkinson's disease, and I'm trying to help her. It's difficult. It's really challenging. So SSRIs are semi-beneficial. What we're finding, I want to thank Paul Stamets for this. He's sharing how psilocybin, especially psilocybin with a therapist, is really helpful with overcoming depression. And Tony Robbins talks about exercise. Exercise is actually more effective in helping with depression than SSRIs. So I haven't seen data, but I also have seen data to show that SSRIs are somehow related to longevity. I didn't quite understand what it is, but people are talking about taking kind of low-level SSRIs to potentially improve longevity. I didn't quite get it. I don't want to say I don't buy it, because it's not about me buying the science. Either it's correct or it's not. I'm reluctant to take an SSRI because I don't think it's not something I want to take. So I don't know about SSRIs causing long-term brain damage. Right, someone's writing, I'm here for Alzheimer's research. I just lost my father to the dreadful disease. I'm very sorry for that. You're in the right place. I have most of the videos that I make are on longevity, Alzheimer's, and anti-aging. Hey, are you being nice to each other in the chat? Someone said, just please leave. We don't want you here. If you're going to be chatting, please. Oh, my link tree is not working. I just checked that page to www.bettermemorysystem.com/research. That's the page I tried to link there. Sorry about that. So www.bettermemorysystem.com/research. Scroll to the bottom. That'll give you my education. I'm sorry. I'm surprised it doesn't work. Sorry about that. I will adjust that when I get back to my computer. And please be kind and respectful to each other in the chat. What about medical marijuana? What are you doing it for? So I think cannabis is really helpful for a lot of things. There's like 20 different diseases it's helpful for. For Alzheimer's disease, there's mixed results. So cannabis has anti-inflammatory agents like CBD, like cannabidiol. It's also got a bunch of things called terpenes, which we don't know all the benefits. There are many. There's not just like CBD. There's also CBN. I think there's CBG. There's all these different components of cannabis, and we don't know their effect. It's often called an entourage effect. There's many different parts that work synergistically together. There's not good data, Rachel, on the impact of cannabis on Alzheimer's disease. And to answer your question, I haven't seen anything on lithium aspartate and Alzheimer's disease. I haven't seen any data on that, so I'm not able to comment on that. I'm going blind and can't handle it, Rachel. I'm very sorry to hear that. Cod liver oil good for you? Yes, it is. It's similar to fish oil. Someone, oxiracetam. What do you know about oxiracetam? It's awesome. Oxiracetam and aniracetam are great. Oxiracetam increases acetylcholine in the brain. It's great for recovery if you don't sleep very well. Also great for recovery after traumatic brain injury. It's very hard to find. It's a pharmaceutical drug. It is not scheduled, meaning it's legal to buy, it's legal to sell, it's legal to possess. You can't make claims about it. And so I can share the science about it, but I can't. Anyway, a person who sells it is not able to make claims about it specifically regarding it. So it's really in a strange area. We live in a really backwards world where we got things like aniracetam and oxiracetam, which are shown to be really helpful for brain recovery after traumatic brain injury. And aniracetam reverses memory loss in double-blind, placebo-controlled studies of early-stage Alzheimer's disease. And these things are difficult to find, and I can't sell those to you and make those claims. Even though those aren't claims, that's actual data. I can point to a study and say it does this, and someone can't do that and sell those things. So it's very upsetting to me that we're in this world where there's proven science. I don't want to say proven, where there's good science, good methodological data to show that these things are great for the brain and great for reducing the risk of Alzheimer's disease and for recovering from traumatic brain injury. And it's difficult to find. Pharmaceutical companies aren't making them because these are in the public domain. They're not doing research with them, and they're just hard to get. So I'm passionate about people getting aniracetam, oxiracetam, all kinds of good stuff. Okay, what about high blood pressure medicine? Well, it depends what you're on. So statins are the most common high blood pressure medication, and statins are shown to be helpful for some people. Statins are often, or at least they were, one of the most side-affected drugs. People reported more side effects than other things. And one of the things statins do is they decrease either the effectiveness or the amount of coenzyme Q10, CoQ10. What CoQ10 does is it helps our mitochondria. It helps make them more efficient by getting rid of waste. And so if you block that, your mitochondria become less effective. My father was on a cruise and he was on statins. He had the miserable time. It cost him his vacation. And he was on this cruise and he was just miserable. He had trouble leaving the boat. He was in bed a lot. He was really just feeling terrible. And it was because of these statins he was on. They stopped taking them. Statins basically reduce the amount of, one of the side effects they have. These are helpful, and check with your medical doctor, not giving you medical advice, but, statins are helpful for some, and statins cause problems for a lot of people. If you're going to take a statin, I'd recommend checking with your doctor and seeing if CoQ10 is helpful, because that will help some of the side effects. Suggestions on skin problems: scalp, elbows, very dry. I would clean up your diet first to make sure you're drinking enough. Those are two big things. Make sure you're drinking enough water, you're getting enough vitamins. You might consider collagen. Collagen not only is good for your skin, hair, and nails, collagen is also good for your muscles. There's research on that. It showed that women who took collagen, they had stronger bones. So that's pretty cool. A daily dosage for CoQ10. It depends on who you ask. According to the bottle, the daily dose is 100 to 200 milligrams. That could be helpful. If you want to slow down or stop the progression of Alzheimer's disease or slow down Parkinson's disease, 1,000 milligrams is the minimum that I've seen in the research. So there's research to show that 1,000 milligrams a day of coenzyme Q10 slows down the progression of Parkinson's disease and is helpful in slowing down and even stopping Alzheimer's disease. There are multiple studies on that. So you actually need a large dose. According to the research, up to 4,000 milligrams a day is safe, but you can't absorb that much. The maximum most humans can absorb is 3,000 milligrams. So theoretically, taking between 1,000 and 3,000 milligrams, those are really high doses, and it's quite expensive to do that. And of course, check with your medical doctor, but that's what the research shows. It says those are that. My doc wants to put me on statins. Are water soluble better options so they don't cross the blood-brain barrier? I don't know. I'm not an expert in specifically statins. I know what statins do and how to help with that. I don't know about water soluble versus fat soluble. I would ask your doctor about that. That's a great question for your doctor. Which one's going to help protect your brain the best? You may also ask, what are the side effects? How strong are these side effects going to be? And is there another option that's going to help with these side effects? A lot of people take statins primarily for blood pressure. What are some other ways you can reduce your blood pressure? I'm not telling you not to take statins. I'm not telling you to take statins. But what else can you do to reduce your blood pressure, Sarah? Can you exercise more? Can you find some fun exercise? Can you reduce your stress? Can you improve your sleep? Can you turn the lights off and the television off and the phone off 2 hours before bed? Relax, listen to some music, do some journaling, say a prayer or meditation, or do whatever you do to connect with your spiritual self, and do that before bed instead of watching television that amps up our adrenaline. Can you do that? Can you prioritize your sleep? Can you get 7 hugs a day? Oh, who said they were going to get 7 hugs? If you're watching this 2 nights ago, people said they were going to get 7 hugs a day. If you did, please put that in the chat. I want to know how that went. Get 7 hugs a day. That greatly reduces stress. All these things can reduce blood pressure. Are you doing a sauna or hot tub 20 minutes a day, 4 to 7 times a week? Research shows that those who do, this is research from Finland, those who do a sauna 4 to 7 times a week, 20 minutes a night, those people have generally a 50% reduction in heart disease, stroke, and Alzheimer's disease. That can be really helpful. Why? A couple of things happen in the sauna. You get heat shock proteins. Those are really helpful. Also, it's a hot tub is a vasodilator. It widens the blood vessels. This reduces blood pressure. Exercise also. Who's exercised and notice that your blood pressure, like your blood pressure is less after exercise? Well, because your blood vessels have dilated. There's all kinds of ways to reduce your blood pressure, and I recommend doing those as soon as you can to reduce blood pressure and reduce risk of heart disease and other things. That can be really helpful, and that's for everyone. And those are things that I do right now to try to reduce my risk of future chronic diseases. And so statins may be helpful to you. Certainly follow the recommendations of your medical doctor. And what else can you do that is not drug related to reduce your blood pressure? I would do with those things. Same with NAC. NAC is N-acetylcysteine, and that is a precursor to glutathione. Glutathione is the body's master antioxidant. A lot of people have good results with that. I used to get lightheaded in the sauna. Yeah, go slowly. Build up to it. Just like if you're going to run a marathon, you're probably not going to start with 26.2 miles tomorrow. You might start with a walk tomorrow, or you might start with a mile jog, or something, or you might just start with buying your running sneakers tomorrow. Don't start with the whole shebang. Go slowly and build up to it. And so, if 20 minutes in a sauna is too much, try 10, try 5. Just buy a gym membership that has a sauna. That's a good start. If you don't have access to a sauna, hot tub is good. If you don't have a hot tub, hot bath. If you don't have a bathtub, hot shower. Do something. Love all the information. Thank you, Texas 2 Cents. Okay, Maria, you got this. All right, what else? Thought coffee was bad because it reduces blood flow to the brain. So coffee is one of these things where people love to report that it's good. People love to report that it's bad. You can search right now, 10 reasons why coffee is bad for you. You'll find data, and then say 10 reasons why coffee is great for you. You will find data. My opinion, based upon the research that I've read, is that coffee is good. It's not good for everyone. It's good for me, and it's good for, I believe it's good for me, from my experience. It's good for a lot of people. Here are the benefits of coffee. Coffee is rich in polyphenols. These are the dark colors in plants. Think the dark blue in blueberries. Think coffee. Think tea. Think brightly covered fruits and vegetables. These are polyphenols. Polyphenols are basically food for your gut bacteria. They love it. And when your gut bacteria, or your gut buddies, as Dr. Stephen Gundry calls them, when they are happy, that is really good for your brain and good for your body as well. So that's one reason. Two is caffeine. Caffeine has three effects. First, it blocks adenosine, so it reduces fatigue. Second of all, it increases the sensitivity of dopamine receptors. And third, it increases adrenaline. Now, this can lead to jittery. So if you drink 5 cups of coffee, you're going to be a little bit wired. Not everyone likes that, and that's not good for everybody. And the benefits of coffee are definitely in the polyphenols. And then caffeine is good for some people. A lot of people like the benefits of caffeine. And caffeine also, those who drink coffee regularly have a 15% reduction in their risk of Parkinson's disease. Why? Because coffee increases sensitivity to dopamine. Parkinson's is a disease associated with a decrease in dopamine, or a lack of dopamine, specifically in the substantia nigra, which is a motor center of the brain. Also, this is interesting and controversial because people don't like it when I tell them this. According to the data, nicotine, those who smoke regularly, they have a decreased risk in Parkinson's disease. Please do not start smoking. If you smoke, please stop smoking. Do not vape. Do not chew tobacco. These are really detrimental to your body, to your brain, to your health. If you're going to do a product with nicotine, the safe things to do are nicotine lozenges, nicotine patches, a nicotine spray. Most of the gums have some sweeteners in them, like some artificial sweeteners I don't think are good. Please don't smoke cigarettes. Please stop smoking cigarettes. It's very bad for you. And smoking increases nicotine. Nicotine increases dopamine and acetylcholine. That reduces the risk of Alzheimer's, or it's not Alzheimer's, of Parkinson's disease. And a lot of very smart people, Dr. Andrew Huberman mentions this. Some Nobel Prize winners are chewing nicotine gum all day long because they feel it helps them think more clearly. And so nicotine is another one of those things. That's another thing, just like coffee, there's pluses and minuses. There's certainly pluses and minuses to nicotine. Nicotine is addictive. I've been doing nicotine lozenges for more than 2 years, 3 years. And between 1 and 3 times a week, rarely more than that. And I do very little of it. Just a little gives you a big, I notice a big benefit. I will suck on a lozenge, and within several minutes, I'll feel better. I'll take out the lozenge. So I'm not even taking a whole lozenge, and I'm good to go. And I do not feel addicted to them, and I don't have them regularly enough. In order to get addicted to a nicotine lozenge, I think I would need to do it multiple times a day for an extended period of time. And it doesn't mean they're not addictive. I think they are addictive. And so be careful. But again, a lot of these things, there are pluses and minuses to them. Matcha, green tea, shown to be really beneficial for the brain. There's a Japanese study, 1,000 Japanese people, those who drank 2 cups of green tea a day had a 40% reduction in their Alzheimer's and dementia symptoms. That's a big benefit. Now, caffeine. Is that caffeine good for them? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's good for some of them, maybe not good for all of them, and so forth. So there are pluses and minuses to a lot of things. And I do my best to share the science with you so you can make informed decisions. So that's my little rant on coffee. Love all this information. Great. So we are going to be doing this. You've been doing this for 3 years. I've been specializing in Alzheimer's prevention and longevity for the last 3 years. Before that, I was working with ADHD. Food is addictive. Sure is. Green tea is great in the morning. It is good in the morning. I recommend not drinking caffeine within 2 hours of waking up. That helps prevent the caffeine crash. Is organic coffee bad for you? Why would you ask that, Dallas? I just shared how good coffee is for you. Definitely drink organic coffee. because regular coffee has lots of pesticides. So I think you meant inorganic coffee. So non-organic coffee can be dangerous because it can be sprayed with pesticides. Please avoid that. Invest in the organic coffee. It's really important. You want to avoid the pesticides. What do I recommend for ADHD? So a couple of things. Number one is exercise. That really helped me growing up. That's the absolutely number one thing, especially for children. And adults as well. If you're an adult with ADHD, get some breaks during the day. Go outside, exercise, get some sun. I'll do squats. When I was recording my masterclass just 2 days ago, I was in the studio from 11 until 5 recording. I was doing squats between sessions, and that really helps me. So get some exercise, get some good sleep. That's really important. Get your food dialed in, and then you can take things like L-tyrosine. You can take things like aniracetam, alpha GPC. Make sure you're taking a B complex vitamin. That's really important. And what's really important is get the foundations, get the exercise, get the sleep, get the diet. That's going to be most impactful for ADHD. And then you can look at supplements, and then maybe potentially talk with a doctor or psychiatrist to see if medication is appropriate. And I think it's dangerous to go directly to medications, especially with children. And I think that's really important to know. So if I have children, I plan on having children. I'm not going to put them on medication, certainly not as a first line of defense. I mean, goodness gracious, let's give the 7-year-old a chance to be a 7-year-old before we medicate them. So I am moving to Miami in the next month. I'm going to spend most of October in Austin, Texas. I'm then going to Cincinnati to celebrate my parents' birthday party, and then I'll be in Miami. And so these wonderful lives, I just want you to know how much I love you and how wonderful these are. I really appreciate you. These are so fun. And so these might be a little bit less consistent. In Austin, these will probably be an hour earlier. Maybe not. I don't know. It depends on what my sleep schedule is like in Austin. But I'm going to keep doing these on the weeknights because these are really, really fun. I really enjoy talking with you. I love spending the night with you. And congratulations to you for choosing to spend your Friday night learning about science, learning about brain health, learning about neuroscience, investing in your health. This is an investment in your health because you're investing your time and your attention into learning these things. So please, let's do this right now. I like to do this most sessions. Please post in the chat what you learned. Post something that you learned, something you're going to take action on. And I love you too. If you said you're going to get 7 hugs, please put that in the chat. I want to learn how your 7 hugs went. So let me know what you learned, what you're going to do about it, and let me know if you did the 7 hugs. I'd love to learn more about that. So appreciate my work. Thank you. It's an honor. Why am I moving to Miami? It's a complex reason. I'm addicted to you. Oh my, it's quite the thought. 7 hugs, Queensy. How did that go? Did you get the 7 hugs? Coenzyme Q10, great. How to reduce atherosclerosis? Yeah, exercise, great. Turn to take care of myself, excellent. What else did you learn? I need 7 hugs, that's good. What else did you learn? To say tea is not good is too broad of a statement to likely be true. Tea is almost certainly good for some people based upon the research. It may not be good for you. It may not be good for some people. Green tea is shown to be very good for the brain. And certainly depends on what kind of water you're using and what quality of tea. Tea can also be high in fluoride. Knowledge is power. Absolutely. Drink organic coffee. Yes. What else are you going to do? Organic smoothies. Yes. Exercise VADD. Yes. Just got in. What are 7 hugs? 7 hugs a day, 7 30-second hugs a day for optimal release of oxytocin and reducing stress. How much is too much? I don't know. Up to you. How much caffeine is too much? I don't know. That's certainly a personal thing. 5-HTP for insomnia. I like melatonin better. Melatonin, is it directly? Kamal DZCA. He posted the same question 5 times. Please don't do that. That's just confusing to me. And so please don't. If you're going to be on the lives, you're welcome to post a question. I welcome that. That's great. Please don't post the same question 5 times. What else have you learned today? Ceylon cinnamon is good for the brain. Great. 2 cups of green tea a day. Great. What do I use black charcoal for? I use it not only for reducing heavy metals in my body. I also use it if I'm going to drink alcohol with my family, and then I don't get hangovers. Dallas, fish oil, calm, nuts, berries, melatonin, sleep. You rock. Melatonin is not good for you. KRW, it depends. Definitely not good for children. I don't think there's good data to show it's not good for everyone. So I like to avoid those blanket statements. because it may not be good for some and it could be good for others. Is melatonin may be good for someone who has insomnia and it helps them sleep? I think so. And so I like melatonin. I take it about 5 to 6 nights a week, and I find it helps me with regular sleep. It certainly helps me when I travel and I go to new time zones. And some people differ in their opinions with that. To me, the data shows melatonin is very, very safe for adults, not safe for children. It's very, very safe for adults, and it helps people sleep better. And I've not seen any evidence of long-term damage. I know people are opposed to it because melatonin tablets are high in melatonin relative to what's endogenous melatonin made inside the body. That doesn't necessarily mean that a big melatonin tablet is unsafe. It doesn't mean that. It means it could be unsafe, but I haven't seen the data to suggest that. And so if there is data that melatonin is damaging, please send it to me because I take it. I'm personally invested in this. And melatonin also has strong anti-cancer properties. Those who are on chemotherapy can be prescribed up to 30 milligrams of melatonin a day, which is a lot. I don't recommend you take that unless under doctor supervision. And so, so melatonin could be good for you. I take it. I find it helps me sleep, and that's definitely good for me. And I believe it's safe long term. And if data comes out that it's not, I will tell you because I certainly don't want to be taking something that's not good for me long term. And I remain open to it not being good. I remain open to it not being good. I'm a scientist. I'm a neuroscientist. I'm open to data telling me something different than currently what is. And so as scientists and citizen scientists, we want to be open to that. Why is melatonin not good for children? Melatonin is a hormone, and it's thought to mess with the hormones of growing children. Dr. Andrew Huberman mentioned that. I wouldn't deal with it. So I take 12 milligrams of melatonin a night. That's a big dose. About 5 is recommended for sleep. I take higher doses for the anti-cancer benefits. Check with your medical professional. Not a medical doctor, not giving you medical advice. I'm telling you what I do, what I believe is safe for the science. And so this has just been lovely. And so I will see you Monday or Tuesday night. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing in Austin, but I'd love to check in with you and see how you're doing. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I love you. God bless you. And I will see you soon. I'm just going to read a few more comments while we sign off here that I got to get back to packing here. Activated charcoal is not useless for hangovers. In my experience, I take it beforehand. You got to take it beforehand to absorb the alcohol, not to be taken afterwards. Thank you, Jessica. I will have a good weekend. Thank you. You're welcome, Extra Guac. Gigi's Pups. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you again. You're welcome. I have beautiful skin. Why, thank you. Any tips? Yes, drink water. Do work you love. How was my date the other night? Well, it was just lovely. Thank you for asking. Have a fantastic night. Thank you. I will. Is drinking beer bad for your brain? Yes. Alcohol is bad for your brain. Andrew Huberman's got a great video on that. And beer increases. Pearl Mutter talks about that. Am I single? Yes, I am. Migraines? Question mark. What's your question? Check allergies. We had someone on tonight who has migraines potentially from allergies. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Truly enjoy you. Thank you for taking time. You're welcome. Any anxiety tips? Yes. Exercise, sleep, stop eating sugar, and then notice when anxiety comes and then go outside, get some sunlight. At which time can we drink vitamin B, D, omega-3, 6? Morning's good. Drinking distilled water, good for you. Distilled water can leach vitamins from you. So if you take distilled water, add some magnesium, add some selenium, add a little salt to it. Where's my favorite trail in Austin? I haven't lived there for some time. I lived on Martin Luther King Boulevard when I was there, right next to Highway 183. I mean, just the green belt's beautiful. How are you single when we're together? That's a great question. Yeah, a very good question. What foods give best energy after fasting? I don't know. I think that depends upon you. Eat what feels really good in your body. Do I have a dog? Does having a dog help prevent dementia? Yes. Having a pet increases significance because it's someone to care for. And dogs in particular have us go outside and exercise. So walk your dog. That's really good. Thanks from Minnesota. You're welcome. Vestibular disorders? Question mark. Dawn, I'm going to need a more in-depth question to answer. Hi, Robert. It's good for nerve damage and nerve. What is good for nerve damage and nerve pain? I would consult with a neurologist. about that. That's a very specific question. I would stop doing things that hurt your nerves, like smoking and alcohol and stress. Do I have anything to help out with lungs? So quercetin has become popular for that. I'd also practice Wim Hof breathing, see if that's safe for you. I don't know if it is. It likely is. Practice deep breathing, see if that helps. You also might have some inflammation issues because inflammation can impair lung function. Fantastic. This has been awesome. It's been so fun. Thank you for choosing to spend your Friday night learning about how to prevent Alzheimer's with science. I love you. God bless you. I will see you Monday or Tuesday.